Hey, so we're here with Lewis Jones. Lewis is our segment specialist for signing graphics. Once again, here at the Printing United 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia. So one of the new announcements, Lewis, was the UJV160 Plus. Yes. So we've had the UJV100-160 for a while. Tell me what the Plus adds.
We did a firmware update to the UJV100 to change it to a Plus model. The biggest change is the ability to print 3 layers with the pullback function. Pullback function lets you print 2 layers, pull the image back, and print another layer on top. The ability to pull back and make it so that you can print 3 layers, white, color, and clear all together. And also on the previous model, if you had white printed on the bottom and color on top, if you set up your printer initially with that configuration, you were limited to that. Now with the pullback function, if you want to print white and then color, or color and then white, it does not matter what you originally set it up with. You can make those changes. It opens up a wide variety of applications. Backlit signage with the 3 layers really make those images pop with like the layer of white in between those 2 color images. Floor graphics where you really want to make sure that you can have like colored images, have white pop in certain areas, or layer up images to make sure that your image isn't affected by the color of your media.
Perfect.
A lot of stuff like that. I love that function. I love the ability that people have to use those functions now.
So one of the things that I think is super exciting with the UJV100 and the UJV100 Plus is the 3M performance guarantee.
Yes, 3M performance guarantee. It assures compatibility between different ink sets and the printer. Right now we have it on the UJV100 with the LUS170 inks and the JV100 with the SS21 inks, the BS4 inks, and the AS5 inks. All those are colored, right? All of those are.
And on the UJV100 we have the 170 and the 210.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So really exciting on that. Another thing that I think is really great with this is that, you know, we have a lot of conversations around how green a machine is, or it's you know, how energy savings and things like that. This machine, we're at 0.5 kilowatt per hour.
Yes, which is something we care about for anyone talking about energy conservation. That's much more green than our competitors in latex and any of our
latex, resin.
Yep.
And just cheaper to run, right?
Yep.
It's an overall inexpensive run. So I think this machine, the 160 Plus, fantastic.
We also have a lot of software changes and applications that we really like to highlight. One of the biggest ones is a change in our latest version of Rasslink 7 coming out, the Ink Saver function. Could you see a real change in any image quality between these images that we have here?
So I'm seeing they're saying level 4, level 2. What's going on?
Like the color quality, that's all pretty much the same, right? The main difference is the amount of ink being saved.
Ink consumption, okay.
The ink consumption, the Ink Saver function changes the amount of ink being jetted in each image. It reads your image, and with a click of a button, you're not putting in different values. All you're saying is change to level 2, level 3, level 4, and it's subtracting the amount being dropped automatically without a change in image quality and without a reduction in speed. All of that's available with a click of a button in Rasslink 7.
So the operator can decide at what level they want. If they want to have use less ink, they can just pull back and be assured that they're going to get the same image, same quality.
Yep. And that's not something they're calculating. That's just saying what level they want.
Okay, and that's just straight up Rasslink function.
Yep. Free of charge with anyone who has our printers or cutters. You automatically get Rasslink and any updates in the future.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm Lewis Jones with Mimaki USA here at Print United 2023. We're here to talk about the UCJV330, our fastest and newest UV roll-to-roll printer. This is 1.7 times faster than our competition because of the increased nozzle count. You get more ink down in one pass than any printer in the market right now. So lower pass counts with higher image quality, faster speeds. We're going to make sure that this is a high production machine that you can use in your any printer environment. There's a lot of different features that are optional on this machine. The proofing lamp, the XY slitter, the 3-roll media changer that lets you cycle between 3 rolls of media at all times. All of those are optional on this machine and can be added on later. Print and cut model with UV inks. Cut those graphics the second they're done printing. Multi-layering effects on this machine, the 3, 4, and 5 layer that lets you do double-sided, floor graphics, wall graphics, window graphics, along with newer multi-layer functions like 2.5D printing that gives you textured effects. So we're really excited about all the things you can do with the UCJV330.
Hey, we're here with Melvin Dothard, and he is an application specialist from Mimaki USA. And Melvin's going to tell us a little bit about the CJV330-160.
Yes.
What are we seeing here?
So here at Printing United 2023, we have our CJV330 printing with light cyan, light magenta, light black, and orange ink. It's printing with the XY slitter, so basically it's printing. The XY slitter is always activated, and then once it reaches black marks on the right side, it's going to do a sheet cut and cut it off for a finished product.
So the marks here, it's coming down, it's reading those, and it's automatically doing a cross cut and a slit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you can have up to 4 slitters. Here we have 18 by 24 posters that it's cutting out. The slitters are actively cutting it, and then once it reaches that black mark, yes, it cuts the top portion.
So do I have, the XY slitter, do I have to use this, or can I engage it and disengage it?
Yeah, so if you don't need to use the XY slitter, you can actually lift that lever right over there, and basically you don't have to actually run with the XY slitter. And then the XY slitter itself is also an option. So if you feel that it's something that you don't need to use or you don't find a use for it, you don't have to actually have it on your machine.
So I can order the CJV330 with or without the XY slitter? Very, very cool. So as far as doing high production on this machine, it looks like you got bigger ink packs than what we see a lot of times.
Absolutely. So we've upgraded to a bulk ink system with 2-liter ink packs. You can do, like I said, dual CMYK or 8-color build.
So on those ink packs, do you have to agitate things at all, or is there any kind of?
So for the white ink, it will tell you that you need to agitate the white ink because the white ink has titanium in it. You don't want that to settle. But other than the white ink, everything else feeds itself.
Okay, cool. So I know on the JV and the CJV, you've got some options, and one of the ones I think is really cool is the 3-roll media changer.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So on the back side here, we have the option for a 3-roll media changer. You can roll 3 rolls and cycle between them based on the media you need to print.
And you can just rotate between the 3.
Correct, correct. It is basically meant to be ease of use. Obviously, getting behind the machine and loading full 150-foot rolls is kind of hard, especially for one person. So in the beginning of a work shift, you can have a team of 2 people load the whole, all 3 rolls, and then one person can manually do it throughout the day.
Awesome. So this machine, there's some solvent ink, so we've got some heater going on here as well. Yeah, and this is something the user controls?
Yes, so we have a preheater, a platen heater, and a post heater. And those are all controlled separately. So depending on what media you're printing to, you can increase or decrease those. And I believe they go up to 60 degrees Celsius.
Awesome, okay. And I believe this machine works with the Mimaki remote access?
Yes, sir. So we do have an app where you can see a lot of the basic functions for your control panel. You can actually put it in remote or put it in local if you're not actually at the control panel.
Nice, very good. All right, Melvin, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. For increased productivity, we have our JV330 series, which is our print-only model, commonly paired with our CGAR series, which is our standalone cutter. This JV330 has ID cut marks, which allows it to print here and then cut standalone on the CGAR. Same options and print features still applies to CJV330, which include the media roll changer, 3 media roll changer, your bulking system for 2-liter pouches, your ink configuration of light cyan, light magenta, light black, and orange ink, as well as your staggered dual print head. With the 330 series, you also have the access to Mimaki remote access, which is basically a app on your phone, which allows you to view basic settings on the printer as well as control the remote functions of the printer. The 330 series also offers a deep color natural input profile, which is exclusive to the 330 series.
So another new product that Mimaki has released is the PIC program, and PIC is the Printer Information Communication Technology. So it's a cloud-based system that allows you to monitor all your different printers remotely. So you can be at home and you can log in and you can see what is your printer doing, how long has it been up, how long has it been in a ready state, how much ink has it used, how many square feet has it printed, and what jobs has it printed over time. This is a completely free system for Mimaki users, and all you need to do is have an internet connection and then a small client that runs on the printer PC, and you can get to this from your phone, your tablet, or your home PC and get a huge amount of metrics that will help you see over time what is your print job doing. Really exciting.
All right, so now we're going to get with Lewis Jones, who is our segment specialist for signing graphics. And Lewis, how was the show last week?
It went amazing. I had a lot of reservations. There's always like some scared feelings you have when you're showing off a bunch of new machines, and we had a lot of new technology in the signing graphics segment, but it all went by great. The machines worked well. People were really engaged with the applications we were showing off. So I think all in all, great show.
Yeah, great show. And it was a great new booth, which I think everybody really, really liked. All right, well, let's just jump into it. If you don't mind, go ahead and share your screen and let's talk a little bit about the signing graphics segment and what we had to offer for Printing United 2023 in Atlanta.
Can you see the presentation now?
I can. All right.
All
So
right.
these are a couple of machines that are not brand new, but are newish, newer,
Right.
the latest, greatest in the CJV line. So tell us a little bit about these.
Well, these are the 330 series, the solvent printers of 330 series, the CJV and JV330. Both of them come in the 64-inch, so the 160 model and the 130, so 64-inch, 54-inch. On the CJV, that is the print and cut model, the one with the plotter up top. We were running dual CMYK, showing off the super draft mode. And on the JV, we were running 8 colors, so CMYK, light cyan, light magenta, light black, and orange, showing that extended color gamut for people who really want their colors to pop or really want to do advanced color matching. We had some really colorful graphics that were made to pop with Touch 7 software. We were cutting those on the XY slitter. That's an option on both the CJV and JV now. That is inline, horizontal, and vertical cutting that goes as the print is coming. So unlike the plotter on the CJV, it doesn't pull the print back to cut the graphics. It just is automatically cutting continuously as your graphics are coming out. It gives you really fine banners, posters, really any application that does horizontal and vertical cuts.
So you had mentioned, and this is something that I think that we heard back from the marketplace. Initially, when those machines were released, they came standard with an XY slitter. We've
Yeah.
heard from some people they don't need it. It's not something they're going to use. So now you have the option, and that's both on the JV and the CJV330 to get the machine with or without the XY slitter. So that's a great option.
Yeah, for people who were doing manual cuts, who didn't want to spend money on a full plotter, but were still having to physically cut out a banner, it worked perfect for them, but it wasn't something that everyone needed. So we
Right.
didn't want to force it on everyone.
Sure. So you mentioned Touch 7. So that's some software from Color Logic. How does that
Yes.
work as far as being able to use that with a spot orange ink?
Well, that's a great plugin for Photoshop for anyone who's got to do some color editing. In the plugin, all that you need to do is select which color that you need to be isolated. When you select that color, it instantly makes a channel with only that color visible. So that gives you like a spot color of layer of really any color that you want. For the graphics that we were using in the booth, we chose orange. So on top of the printed layer that you normally have in your RIP software, you load in that grayscale channel as its own layer, and you can use that to print at the same time as your normal print, and that will boost the color of whatever color you suggested.
So Touch 7 will allow you to make that grayscale special plate, or we bring it into
Yes.
Rashlink as a special plate. We assign the 100% orange ink to it, and then the grayscale levels within that plate that Touch 7 made, or that determines how much of that orange ink is applied. So it essentially ends up being like a bump plate for as an older terminology, to be able to really get punchy color out of that orange ink. That's awesome. So as far as the JV330, CJV330, what are some of the new features on these machines?
Well, of course, 330 series is known as that workhorse high production machine. So we got the increased speeds on that because of the print heads. And we also have some features that will really increase production. So V-shaped cut function, making it easier to find the middle of the media and adhere that to the take-up reel. That's going to stop media shifting. The dual motor take-up system, so motor on both sides instead of just one. It's another thing that's going to help keep tension on a full roll of media and stop media shifting. Cloth wiper, it's going to reduce time cleaning inside the machine. Instead of the rubber wiper, cloth wiper will reduce spray of ink inside the head, so brings down your daily maintenance to weekly maintenance. In-machine lighting, that's the light inside the machine, so you're not sticking your head in the machine when you're doing adjustments or cleanings. You just turn on that light and it's just easier to see. So all of those are functions that will be seen throughout the entire 330 series. So all the 330 series will have these increased production features.
So when you talk about all the 330 series, we had a big, not really an announcement, but something new to show at the show that has not been seen in anywhere in North America so far. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we were really excited to show off the UCJV330 inside the booth. So this was taking the UCJV300 and giving it the features of the 330 series, upgrading it to the 330 series. So
everything we just saw on that previous screen, that's available on this machine as well.
Absolutely. Those features that we talked about before, those increased production features, all those are available on the 330 series. That increased speeds that the 330 series is known for is 1.7 times faster than competitors, without a reduction in quality or color dropout. All of those features available on the UCJV330, in addition to the features of the 300 that we're used to. So the multi-layer function and the print and cut capabilities. This is a print and cut machine like the CJV. So it'll print, pull the image back to cut after it's done. Those UV inks instant dry, so there's no wait time with there's no outgassing time that you have to wait with the heat. So
So it's
really
all
excited
the
about this
benefits
machine.
of the of UV LED printing, plus all the benefits of the 330 series.
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So now on this machine, let's talk a little bit about the configuration, right? So this is very different from what we've seen on the other 330 series as far as options.
Right. There are a lot of options on this machine that aren't standard. Everything that we talked about before is standard with exception to the XY slitter.
Mhm.
Everything that we talked about before is standard. But as far as options on the machine, we've also added in things that you can, additions that you can choose to add or take away: the XY slitter, horizontal vertical cuts, the 3-roll media changer. So having 3 rolls of media loaded on the machine at all times. You have that ability, and you can use a crank to switch between those different rolls. Those are full rolls at all times. Really good feature. The ionizer. People familiar with the UCJV300, familiar with that? Ionizer on the back really helps with any laminating that you have to do, especially in a carpeted area. That material is really, or transparent media, all that is really attracting static. So stops you from shocking yourself. The anti-static sheet on the front. It's another thing that reduces static electricity. In-facing guide. So some grip guides on the sides of the take-up. Those aren't on the actual take-up roll. Those are clipped right next to your media to stop media shifting, right? It's an addition that goes at the bottom. Proofing light. Is there anyone doing backlit signage with the UCJV300? Remember that there's a proofing light that you can add to it. That bright light lets you do testing and make sure if your application has a light behind it, you don't have to print a whole image before realizing that you made a mistake. So it really helps with checking to make sure your application looks right. The heater option, UV inks, instant dry without heat, but we've gotten some suggestions that white ink needs a little bit more help adhering when it's in advanced or in extreme temperatures, like extreme cold. And by printing up in New York or Canada, it gets really cold out. You just want a little bit of reassurance when you're printing with white ink. That heater helps with that. Deodorizer, another thing that's not seen with all UV inks, but some people have complained that some of the special inks like the white and the clear may smell in like a confined area, like a very confined area. Anybody who has complained about that smell, we have deodorizer that you can add to the machine. Now, all of the features on this page, some of them don't really mesh together. If you'll see, like from the image, the proofing light and the deodorizer are sort of in the same section. We're going to be showing later on in the year examples or bundles of what works well together or what features work with what other features. So that
we'll have some pre-configured or preset configurations, let's say. So if somebody wants the proofing light, it'll come with some of the options like the proofing light and the ionizer, let's say. And then if they want a deodorizing unit, maybe they just want to buy the unit by itself, add the deodorizing unit. And so we'll help steer people, or the dealer will help steer people to the right section. But this is really great. So this helps keep the price of the machine down. It doesn't have people buying options that they don't need, but it makes sure to give them enough options that for whatever they've got going on, they can add it later even. So you could have the bare machine, and then if you decide that, well, we have a customer that's running a particular material and we need the ionizer, we can always add that at a later time. Excellent. All right. What else do you have to show us?
Well, like I said before, the 300 series is really known for, the UCJV 300 series was known for multi-layering UV inks. You get a lot of cool effects when you layer inks. So we added in the ability to do all those features and more, some new features with multi-layer printing. The clear ink, that's standard. You can always use that clear ink for embossing. 3, 4, and 5 layers, you can still do that. You still have the option of doing 3, 4, and 5 layers. But we also added in 2.5D printing and watermark printing, 2.5D textures, previously only on the flatbeds, now available on our first roll-to-roll machine.
So the 2.5D or the let's say the watermarks, texture printing, all of that. Can you use that the texture library that Mimaki has? The artisan
Yes,
texture library?
the Artista library. Yes, that is free to download if you get any of our UV machines. That's on our website, and we'll give you links to where those are when you are trying to print with UV textures. That really helps you just automatic swatch book, add it in your design software. The click of a button, you can add in a variety of different textures to any page.
So I know on the 330 series, the UCJV300 series, we had that cool dynamic day-night printing where you could have one image when it was front lit,
Yes.
and then a second image when it's backlit. Can you do that on this machine as well?
Yes, that is 4-layer printing. So that's a layer of color, layer of black, layer of white, and a colored layer on top. Those 4 layers all printed together. And when there's a light behind it, the bottom image shows up. That is available on the UCJV 330. I think we're showing different applications of the layered printing at the show. This is one of the applications that we had, showing off the different kinds of layers that you could do, right? We'll go into the spiel if I can remember all the things that I was talking about during the show. Talk about it here. So when you're doing 3 layers, that's this image right here. That is 3, 4, and 5 layers are all sort of different variations of double-sided printing. So when you're printing on clear material, 3-layer printing, this one right here, you can see one image on one side, one image on the other. All of those printed at the same time, just layer of color, white color. The only stipulation with 3 layers, it is double-sided, but when you go to the back, see that text is reversed. So you need to make sure it's the same pattern on both sides. Some of our competitors have that technology, and it does allow you to get some really cool patterns like window graphics, just like interior, like office signage. You can do some really cool stuff with that, but it needs to be the same pattern. We've given you the option of 4 layers as well. That's what you were talking about before. You're seeing 4 layers. You put a light behind it. You can see the bottom image at a certain time of
the text
day.
showing up on the band. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool. Now, the most popular application that you're seeing with these layering effects is 5-layer. That's this image at the bottom. You see that during a certain time of night, no matter what light source is behind it, you cannot see the back. So that lets me reverse print. I can have a completely different color image on the other side, legible text, and it doesn't matter what the change is, because there's so many layers and so many separations with the black and the white that it will be clear on both sides. So
very cool.
Actual true double-sided imagery.
Excellent. So that's the 330 series. Anything else cool to talk about that we had at the show?
Well, there was like I do want to stress like the 2.5D printing.
Oh, right.
With the UCJV330, that was really cool applications that you can get on there. Once again, you could only ever do this on the flatbed, so I'm really excited that you could. I don't want to stress on it too much. I'm just really excited that you can do this on the roll-to-roll machines now. So any textures that you can think of on a smooth banner material, you can print out the texture of leather, of like Velcro, a full painting. Any artists that are replicating brush strokes in Illustrator or design soft or any kind of drawing software, you can print out the texture as if it is an actual painting. So just really cool effects that you can get on the UCJV330 now.
Very good.
But
excellent.
Let's move on to some of the other printers that we had. I know that was the really big name, but we had a lot of other things that we were showing off at the show as well, including the UJV100-160 Plus.
So we had the UJV100-160. So this is now the plus version. What does that plus give me?
That is a firmware update. That Plus is showing a firmware update. So anyone with the UJV100 now can pay to get their machine updated to the UJV100 Plus. So I want to stress that it's very smooth transition. Our machine in the booth at the show was actually one of our models that went through the transition and worked great. With that Plus, you are getting more layering functions. You're using less power. You use like 20% less power than EcoSolvent or latex at 0.5 kilowatts. And more connectivity with the plotters. So this isn't a print and cut machine, but you have a better, easier transition when you are moving over to the plotter.
So I know with the UJV100-160, you had an option of how you wanted to install the heads, say whether you wanted white first or white second, and it was something that you had to consider when you were running jobs as far as what are you going to run the most and setting up the machine that way. So this has a pullback function. Does that alleviate that problem?
Yes, that pullback function allows you to do 3 layers. And it's printing 2 layers, pulling back your image, and printing that 3rd layer. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that opens up a wide variety of applications. Like you said before, when you were setting up the machine, if you set it up initially to print white on the bottom and then color, that is all you could do. And that also meant that if you wanted to print color and then a special color on top, like clear ink, you could not do that. So you were basically deciding, but when you first loaded the machine, am I going to do backlit signage or am I using clear ink? That was pretty much your limitation. Now, with the pullback function, you can do color then white, white then color, or color white and clear ink all together.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of cool applications you can get. Embossing with the clear ink, the matte finish of the clear ink will allow you to do privacy screens, label printing, backlit signage with the 3 layers. You need those 3 layers when you're using backlit signage. So it really opens up a lot of possibilities.
Excellent, excellent. And you mentioned the power consumption. So just want to make sure I'm reading that right. 20% or 20% of the power of EcoSolvent or latex, so latex or resin, either way. So this machine, it's a pretty inexpensive machine to buy. I think it's under $18,000 US, and it's also inexpensive to run. That's fantastic. Plus, you get the benefits again of the UV LED, so you're not having to outgas, you're not having to wait. We can laminate right away. That's really, really cool.
Instant dry, instant cure.
Yeah. So this is a print-only machine. It doesn't have the cutting or the ability to cut within the machine. So when you pair this up with the CGAR cutter, you're saying now that I can drive all of that directly from Rashlink 7. I don't have to go into Illustrator and all that.
Yes, if you do not have design software or dedicated designer, you can run everything off of Rashlink. So that takes away your need to use Fine Cut, which is Fine Cut has never been its own separate program. It's always been a plugin inside your design software. Right. So if you don't know how to use those, if you can't use those, we still want you to be able to use the CGAR. And now pairing that with the UV machine or the JV, being able to immediately print and cut using just the RIP software really opens up a lot of doors to new customers.
So what about, am I going to have to deal with managing the files if I've got a print file that's going here and a cut file that's going there and making sure that the cutter knows what file is on it?
No, with ID cut function has always been helping that transition as well. That barcode that it's printing out as part of ID Cut holds all the information from your RIP software, from your original file, including the cut lines, including the copies, everything, the orientation. So if you were bringing over your print to the plotter, it doesn't matter what orientation it had, however it read that barcode, it would understand the correct orientation. Now, that information is still loaded when you are using the just Rasterlink 7, printing and cutting just from Rasterlink 7. So you can still use ID Cut, you can still use those advanced crop marks that we've added in.
Mm-hmm.
That helps printing an entire roll. You have intermediate crop marks to make it easier to print and cut an entire roll. Anybody that is using a print then cut method, so printing and then cutting on a plotter, usually the benefit of that is printing an entire roll and then cutting. We want to make sure that you have that reassurance that you can do that without babysitting your cutter. So now you have that with these new added functions.
Very good. So a lot of new features here. We're saving money. We're saving power. All right. So a couple other things that I think are really exciting that were released at the same time. One is the ink save function. So the ink save function, this is a function inside of Rasterlink for version Rasterlink 7 version 3.10, which has been released this week. So it's available now for download for anybody who's running Rasterlink 7. Just do the program update and you'll get version 3.10. And this allows you to reduce the ink consumption without changing the look and feel of the print itself, right? So inside the RIP, you can say, I want to do, I think it's from level 1 to level 5. And you can adjust how much ink you want to pull back, right? And so you can look at the screen here and you can see the image on the left where they're not using the ink save function, and then level 3, level 5. You can tell there's a very, very slight difference in the shadow area, but you can look at that ink savings, right? So there's almost a 50% or right around a 50% ink savings at level 5. You might decide, well, that's pulling back a little too much density for me. So you go to the middle one, level 3, and you get almost a 40% ink savings. I think this is really, really cool. So this is something that is at the operator level. They can go in, play around with this, find a setting that works for them, and you could probably just leave it there and run it for all your jobs. But if you do have a job that might be even more color critical, you can go back to level 1 or turn it off, and it's up to you. You can do it on a job by job basis. So that's really great that we can start using that right away.
Yep, and it is now available on, since it's available on Rasterlink instead of on just an individual printer, you can get that on all the printers we talked about already.
Awesome, that's great.
Yep.
The other thing that's really cool, so this was an announcement at Printing United, was for the 3M performance guarantee. So 3M has a performance guarantee, which basically just says they've tested specific printers with specific inks on their specific media. And you know that once you have that performance guarantee, that ink and that printer are going to work great with their media. So they've done this for our solvent inks using the JV100 printer. For SS21 ink, AS5 or BS4. And then on the UV side, the UJV100-160 or the UJV100-160Plus, doing the LUS170 and the LUS210. So this is great. If you have any concerns at all, you have a guarantee now that if you use that printer, that ink, and that media, you know you're going to get good adhesion, you're going to get good color, and you're ready to go. Awesome. What else do we have?
At the booth, we also had the CGAR series. Love the cutting functions that you can get on these roll-to-roll plotters. We had it printing and cutting. Sorry, we had it printing on the JV330 and then bringing it over to this plotter in the booth. Love software that you can use on this machine, Final Cut 9 and the plugins for your design software, make it easier to create files. This has a sheet cut function, blades, pins, and a creasing tool, and some advanced firmware to really make sure this is like the newest, best plotter in our line.
So we've got increased pressure, we have additional rollers, and the real benefit to this is that if you have a print cut machine like a CJV and you need to increase your production, you can, for very little cost, you can buy one of these, put it right next to it, or put it right next to a JV330, and now at the same time that you're printing on the JV or the CJV, you can also be cutting on this machine, and you've effectively doubled your output. That's I think that's super, super cool.
Yep.
Yeah, these are really great machines, and as you said, you've got the ability now to go directly out through Rational Link 7, so we can be going straight to these printers. So if you're already in a fine cut workflow, this works. If you're going from CorelDRAW or Illustrator, this works. If you're going straight from Windows, this works. Or if you want to bypass all of that and go straight from Rational Link 7, we can do that now as well. So it's a great solution. It's really, really cool. Also want to mention that these do use servo motors on these, so they're very, very accurate, and they're driven by Ethernet. So these are really production-minded machines, ready to be added to your cutting workflow. Really great stuff. All right, what's next?
The new software. I think you might have talked about the
slide.
Pict before. Yeah, talked about Pict and Mimaki Remote Access, right?
So Mimaki Remote Access, we've shown this before, right? This is the ability from your phone or from your tablet or from your PC to be able to go in and actually control the printer, right? You can take over the control panel, you can put it in remote, you can adjust settings, you can see what the ink levels are, those kinds of things. But you had to be on the same
everything.
Yeah, but you had to be on the same network, right? So if your printer was on network, you had to have a router on the same network and be able to get to it. So it was very, very powerful, but it was pretty specific in what it would do.
Right.
So Pict is a whole new thing, and Pict is cloud-based. So it allows you to have the printers on one network, and then you can be at home, you can be in a hotel room somewhere, on vacation, whatever, and you can log in via web browser, because this is a cloud-based software. And it doesn't allow you to control the printer through the control panel, but what it does allow you to do is it allows you to be able to see at a glance how long the machines have been printing, how long they've been in standby mode, what the maintenance was due on the machines, what is not only how much ink is in the machine, but also how much ink have you used in the last week, month, or even up to 3 months. You get 3 months of data with this thing. You can see how much square footage you've run, and you can also get some other basic information like what's the serial number, and just some really great metrics that'll help you track what's going on in your shop over time. So I think this is super, super powerful software. And one of the things that just blows me away about this, it's free, right? So it's available today from the Mimaki.com website. You can sign up for an account. You download a little client that you run on the RIP software. The client reports back to the cloud, and then you have access to it from your computer, wherever you might be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen real quickly. First off, you can see up at the top here, there's a little release saying that the full 1.0 released on Monday, so it is available. It's available now. And this is just showing a printer list, and these printers are grouped by whatever facility or however you decide you want to do it. So in this case, we've got some stuff going on in Japan. We've got some stuff going on in Europe. And you can see I've got a UJV100 here. I've got a Tiger 600, a JFX 600. There we go. Let's see if we have any operating results. There
it is.
All right. So this one has been printing for a couple hours. It's been idle, probably because of all the shows that we've had going on. So you can see ink usage, and you can mouse over this, and you can get from the date what the time is. I can look at it for 7 days. I can go back and look at it for up to 90 days. And all these metrics it just helps me see what's going on within my shop. And I can track this, right? I can also get the print print area, so how many square feet we did, total number of prints that we did. I can get a list of what the print history is, and I can get maintenance alert, so I know what condition my wiper is in or when the last time that the heads were cleaned. Really, really cool stuff. And again, it's free. Oh, I can also go in and I can get the manual specifically for that printer model right online, which is really, really great. So that's picked. Again, that is a free software that's available from Mimaki.com. You can sign up for it today, and it'll have, I believe it's available for all of the 330 series. It's available for the UJF100-160 Plus 2, as well as the 3042 and 6042 Mark IIe. It's available for the UJV100. There's a list online that will tell you. The Tiger, I think, is not it's not available quite yet, but that will be coming, and there'll be more printers that will be announced as we go on. So look for updates on that. But I think that's really exciting stuff. All right. So Lewis, I think that's everything for the SG side. I want to thank you so much. Great job at Printing United. I know we had a ton of prep work, and you know, we had so many people that we were talking to, and so many people that were interested in all these new products and things like that. It was a long 3 days, so it's great to be on the other side of that. So thank you again, and thank you for spending the time to talk with us about all these new products. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.